Howdy folks, so if you guys have been playing Mobius Final Fantasy, you know it's all gonna come to an end in June, and I thought I'd do this video just for you guys to know my quick thoughts about it, about the mobile industry and all that sort of stuff as well at the same time. So this was the official announcement made 4 days ago. And I should have done this video a lot sooner, to be honest. But I was honest. I'll be honest. I was It impacted me quite a bit, and I'll let you know after I read this. So, greetings, Warriors of Light. Thank you for playing and supporting Mobius Final Fantasy throughout the years. It actually came out in 2016. So, bloody hell, it's been going on for quite a while. Like, almost 4 years. I always think it's 2019. After many difficult discussions, Square Enix ended service for the Japanese version of Mobius Final Fantasy in December 2019 after the Warrior of Despair story concluded. Service for global version of the game will continue until the Warrior of Despair story has concluded on June 30th, 2020 at 6 o'clock, at which time service for it will end. The schedule until the end of service is as follows, blah 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 blah. We would like to express our deepest gratitude to all our players who have supported us since service began on August 3rd, 2016. I haven't been playing full time on this game. I've been kind of in and out quite a bit, but I did really love the game. It is with a heavy heart that we must now bring you this sad news. We'll continue to implement updates and all that sort of stuff until the very end. Thank you for fighting alongside the Warriors of Light and for being a part of the world of Mobius Final Fantasy. May you continue to bring the light of hope to those around you. A little bit cringe there, but it seems very heartfelt, but I think this sort of stuff is a little bit douchey, keeping the Magicite sales still open so you can still technically purchase Magicite till the very end of the game. I think it's pretty money grabbing at the end of the day. But I would know that the best, because literally, I shit you not, the day before this announcement I purchased Magicite. And I was very pissed off because obviously I couldn't get a refund. Steam doesn't allow refunds on add-ons, and Square Enix was like, nah, screw you, you purchased it, so we ain't gonna give you a refund. I actually have the actual message that Square Enix gave me. But this game, it's been pretty fun at the same time. I do believe, honestly, I feel like the gameplay was very grindy. What I loved about the game was the nostalgic value. Playing all these kind of Final Fantasy episodes that's technically canon, right? It's really a lot of it was really emotional. Like, some of them I actually like had a few tears in, and like seeing Tidus, seeing Yuna, seeing Squall lately. It's been pretty insane, and it's been a beautiful story throughout the game as well. The Warrior of Light story isn't very comprehensive. It's a fairly simple story because it's based on Final Fantasy 1, so you can't really imagine it to be like a really complicated story because it is the first Final Fantasy. It's like a man saving a princess, so can't really get too complex. So, but like I said, the gameplay was fairly simple as well, fairly grindy throughout. What brought people in was the story. What brought people in, I guess, was the multiplayer as well. The multiplayer was fairly fun because there was some sort of tactics behind that at the same time. And it was a very beautiful game at the same time. And let me just, I was gonna like reduce this stretch. There we go. A little bit better there. I don't know why I was so stretched out, but man, it's just seeing this graphics as well. It's just awesome. You know, you never really see this in any other Final Fantasy mobile game. You see like pixelated graphics in Final Fantasy Record Keeper and FFB's fairly similar. You have some cutscenes there, and even though I didn't really get into FFBE, I know it has a very, very big audience, and I know throughout the years, I believe that game will continue on for quite a while because the Asian audience is very, very big on that game as well. So at the moment, to my knowledge, there are quite a few Final Fantasy games throughout the mobile industry, and Square Enix is most likely going to continue that because they get a lot of revenue. Even things like Final Fantasy Mobius, what they did was they kept re-releasing the story over and over and over again, so they can kind of not release new content and just keep releasing the older content to bring new audience in, but then at the same time it's pissing off the new audience because the old audience because they're playing the same story over and over again. Because Final Fantasy X, this story has been re-released twice, I believe, and Final Fantasy 13 story has been re-released three times, and it got kind of annoying where it just becomes a grind fest throughout because you know the story already, and all you're doing is just going through each step of the battles and just getting Magicite. Really, if you don't know what Magicite is, it is the in-game currency of the game, and you can buy it. You can what you do is you roll for new cards, so you roll for skills, pretty much similar to that Kingdom Hearts game, Chain of Memories, is it? Yeah, I think it is. Very, very similar to that game, but the gameplay, it didn't really go in depth with tactics, especially in the single mode story, since you don't really get in depth with like monsters. There are monsters which have weaknesses to certain elements, but then the monsters are fairly easy in that sense, except if you're a newer player. If you're a veteran like myself, you can literally just click auto battle and then it will just take you through the battle, and it just becomes very, very, very easy. And I think what happened was the audience just declined at a rapid rate once they started just re-releasing a lot of these stories, because the older players got bored, the newer players perhaps struggled on the multiplayer battles, because the multiplayer battles, you pretty much needed to be a veteran in those type of battles because the monsters were particularly harder compared to the single mode stories. But I believe that's what happened, and there was like a graph that I saw. Of course, the audience kind of split up when the Steam release came up, but I think over a month's time, the audience for Mobius declined from 5,000 to 2,000 on Google Play, around those type of numbers. And I don't know how it was in the Japanese audience, but you have to assume kind of the same thing, how their audience declined, because if they didn't, then of course the game would still be around, like Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I believe Opera Omnia is another game which has a fairly big audience. You know, a game has a fairly big audience once they started advertising online and advertising even on TV. I don't remember seeing Opera Omnia on TV, but I saw quite a few YouTube ads on Opera Omnia. I've seen quite a few ads on Final Fantasy Brave Exvius as well on YouTube as well. And I wish Square Enix all the best for those type of games. Like I said, I do think it's pretty douchey that you can still purchase Magicite in this game until the end of the game in June. They even actually have a notice there. All Magicite purchased and earned may be used until the end of the service. Thank you for playing. It's pretty insane, but it's quite a large notice at the same time. Like, I would be so pissed if they released this announcement, say, a month before June. But I am pretty interested in the end of the story. I think the people that are still playing Mobius are still interested in the end of the story, and if you're kind of curious about Mobius, then I believe it's kind of worth it just to play through the story and completely ignore the multiplayer aspect altogether, because I believe you can actually get through the story just being free to play. Like, it's a pretty easy thing just to auto battle, and you can actually reduce the battle difficulty here as well. As per the future of Final Fantasy mobile games in general, I think the next one to go is Final Fantasy Record Keeper. I think the audience for that is diminishing pretty quickly. I remember there was quite a few times when I was playing Final Fantasy Record Keeper years and years ago. I said, I'm going to stand behind this till the end of the game, and I never knew that it would last for so long as well. But I do open it and close it sometimes just to kind of get mithril, but I'd say that I'm not proactive at that game at all. I did love it at the time, but pretty much the same. There's a lot of strategy in that game, but then it kind of gets repetitive, and as you guys know, I get my emotions pretty invested in Record Keeper, at least. Like, my emotions, like, you could tell when I first started making Record Keepers videos. If you did see my very, very early videos, I would get really, really pissed off. I would throw my phone at the wall, and I think that's where my audience kind of grew in that sense. And then throughout the years, I kind of kept my cool later on as well, and I think people kind of noticed that, where once I kept my cool, you could see my emotions kind of declined for that game at the same time, because I kind of got more bored of the game. Even though I did enjoy the battle aspect, I enjoyed getting my favorite relics for my favorite characters in that game at the same time. It was just a small moment of happiness, and I stopped playing that game religiously because, yeah, I was just not happy to play it anymore. Let me just go through another battle. Might as well. So literally I'm just auto battling here, and Jet was my last ultimate hero character that I got in this game. I actually have all the ultimate heroes for this game, so it is kind of a fun game just to look at. Like, who would like to see Jet fight, man? Jet's just freaking awesome. And wait, can I do this? Can I? I wanted to do the ultimate Jet shot. I didn't even notice if I did it or not the last round. But man, it's just a really, really good sight to see. Like, this is, like, the highlights of this game is just seeing your favorite characters in general. Right, okay, here we go. Ultimate Jet shot. Check this out. Just so cool, right? Like, just seeing that just makes the game worthwhile. But yeah, Final Fantasy Record Keeper, I'd say, is the next to go, but I do hope that it goes a long way. A lot of the ideas that they had for the game, I was kind of trying to get the developers to do it, like the story mode, the actual story mode of each Final Fantasy. They did that. Like, I made that idea, and then it just took them so long to do it that after they did it, I lost interest already, which was really, really sad. But yeah, playing through the stories of each Final Fantasy, I was like, man, that would have been perfect for the game. And then they finally did it. That was just awesome. There was some things that I was still unhappy about. Of course, the duplicate relics thing is just stupid. I did mention the idea of buying relics as well, or perhaps trading relics would be awesome if you have duplicates. they did kind of implement it in a semi-douchey way at the same time. Like, if you get a duplicate, then you get, I think it's Magicite as well, and you can trade that Magicite for certain relics, but then you'd need a lot of dupes to get your favorite relics anyway. So it kind of gets a little bit grindy in that sense when you're drawing duplicates over duplicates over duplicates, and yeah, I had so many duplicates in that game where it just really, really pissed me off at the same time as well. But yeah, Record Keeper was definitely one of the games which I loved, and I put my heart in. I put my soul into that game, and that's how my channel reached the amount of audience members that it currently has at the moment. It's probably declined quite a bit because I stopped, but still, I'm happy to everyone that still kind of communicates with me on Discord and just communicates with me as a friend as well. Like, I've met so many friends there, and even met a few guys in real life, which is just really, really, really heartfelt. Like, meeting friends like overseas and all that sort of stuff is, for me, like a dream come true. Like, even just making friends is just awesome. It was never about like some people making money or making this as a full-time job. For me, it was just a hobby, and that was it. Like, I have my own job, and that's there. This is my hobby, and making friends, of course, is awesome as well at the same time. Then there was Opera Omnia, which I played. No, actually, I played Brave Exvius first. I actually did an introduction video on that game because I thought that would be the game that I would be next invested in. But it never really developed because at the same time I was playing Record Keeper at the same time. So I was more still in tune of Record Keeper. And then when I tried giving Brave Exvius another attempt, I just wasn't interested anymore because the game got so far along and everyone was so professional at that game. Everyone was like, what the hell are you doing? You know, if I made a video, people would just say, you're a freaking noob, you know? So there was no point in making videos of Brave Exvius. And then when Opera Omnia came out, it just felt like another grindy game to me, to be honest. Like, I prefer to play the actual Dissidia over that, you know? And I do understand where people are coming from when they are invested in Opera Omnia, because it like, when you look at the game, it looks like a proper Final Fantasy game, like a chippy version of the Final Fantasy game. You do have that turn-based action as well and doing multiplayer with other people, but then at the end of the day, people want those relics, you know, and I just kept reminding myself how much money I invested in Record Keeper, and I didn't want to do the same thing again in Opera Omnia, because now that I'm older, I'm 28 now, and it's kind of gone to the point where I don't want to be investing hundreds and thousands of dollars of just money on a mobile game which is going to end just like Mobius, you know, and all that time, all that investment, even though at the time I really, really, really probably would enjoy myself in Opera Omnia, it's just the fact that that game is going to end, you know? Like, all these mobile games, all these gacha games are going to end, and at the end, the only people that win are the developers of the game. Like, even though Square Enix has just stopped service for this game at a later date, like, even though they're sending out a message saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm deeply, like, condolences for the audience, you know, and thankful for the audience playing the game, at the end, all they're thinking about is profit. And that's how a business starts and how a business ends. It's all based on profit, and you just need to realize that. And I'd just prefer to play a game which I enjoy, yes, but if I were to make a video, then I would want my audience to enjoy that at the same time. And I know a lot of the audience that I built up were invested in those type of games, those type of gacha games. So even though I have a very, very minor audience still, like the people that are watching this video right now, I can't see myself playing another game like this where I were to spend money on games like this. And it's a sad reality because games like this have built up such an audience. Like all these mobile games, I can literally go on the App Store and the first page I see is so many free-to-play games, and then when you go, are there add-on purchases, you see like a list of gems and all this sort of stuff, you know? And that's a sad reality where, I'll give you a story actually. My sister dated a single dad before, and his kids were playing this mobile game. It was like some sort of dragon game, and they came up to me, and I knew straight away it was like a free-to-play game, and they said, oh, Daniel, can we get this add-on? And then I just see it, and it was like $30, and it was exactly the same thing. You roll a dice to get your favorite character's costume, and it's just, I'm just like, wow. Like, it just hit me back, you know, that early kids are just getting invested in these type of games, and it's just sad in a way. And with these type of games, of course, it's feeding on your nostalgia at the same time, which is also sad. Like, these companies, they just want to grab your heart and then squeeze the dollars out of it. And that's all they care about. Like, even though, man, I'm just seeing like so many of my friends playing these type of games, which it hurts me as a person, but I understand why they're playing it at the same time. But I do want everyone to enjoy themselves regardless, and I don't want people, I'm saying this as a friend, I don't want anyone to spend money that they're uncomfortable in spending with. And if you do stick around this channel, I haven't been streaming much because my internet has been really crummy, and an update from my life, I've been kind of going pretty in debt with I wasn't too sure whether I was going to tell you guys, but I bought a piece of land, and yeah, I'm kind of in debt paying that off at the same time. So of course I won't really want to spend money on these type of games anyway. But if it was kind of a one-off purchase and playing around with it, that would be alright. Like, there's so many other games which I'd rather be playing. As you guys know, I really love to play like a horror game from beginning to end, streaming it at the same time, but I can't really see myself streaming with my internet being so crap, unfortunately. So that's a sad reality. I do hope you guys enjoy your lives. If I were to make another video, I think it would just be a normal YouTube video, which I don't know, maybe it would be a gaming one. But I'd kind of want to know your guys' thoughts, if you are going to stay subscribed, if you are kind of enjoying the random video content. But thank you guys. I thank you guys for staying around. I'll see you guys next time. Well, as always, peace out.